In this video, we are looking at random sampling. In a random sample, the sample should be representative of the population, so bias should be reduced. We've got three methods of random sampling. We've got simple random sampling, where every person has an equal chance of getting picked. So we could use a random number generator to pick the people, or pick the names out of a hat. We have systematic sampling, so that's picking every 10th person or every 5th person from a list, depending on how many people we have and how big the sample we want. So if we've got 200 people and we want a sample of 10, we'll do 200 divided by 10. We'll pick every 20th person from the list, and we'll use a random number generator to go between 1 and 20 to decide the first person. So say we pick the 5th, then it'll be the 25th, the 45th, the 65th, and so on. So systematic means we pick the people at a regular interval. Stratified sampling, we split the population into groups. So say we had boys and girls, or year 7s, year 8s, and year 9s, or adults and children, and we want our sample to be representative of the population. If we had 70 boys and 30 girls, and we want a sample of 10 to make it easy, we want 7 boys and 3 girls. So the size of the groups in the sample, that proportion will be the same as the size of the groups in the population. And then once we've split them into groups, then we can just use a simple random sample again to pick those 7 and those 3. Let's have a look at some questions. There are 100 members in a tennis club. There is a membership list of members listed alphabetically. The club wants to give a questionnaire to a sample of 10 of the members. Explain how the club could take a systematic sample. So it doesn't say the list is numbered. So give each person a number. From 1 to 100. And because 100 divided by 10 is 10, we're going to take every 10th person. So we'll generate a random number between 1 and 10. And that'll be our for our first pick. And then we'll add 10, add 10, add 10, until we have all 10 people in the sample. One question for you to try. See if you can answer that question. So again, we've got our tennis club. This time we're taking a simple random sample. So again, we don't know if they've got a number, so let's give each person a number. From 1 to 100, and then we will use a random number generator to pick 10 numbers and that will be our sample. A company wants to take a sample of 50 employees to find out what its employees think about a new pension scheme. There are 45 employees aged 18 to 35, 58, 36 to 50, and 37, 51 to 65. Explain how the company could use a stratified sample. So how many do we have? We've got 45, 58, and 37, which is 140 employees. So we want the proportions in the sample to be the same as the proportions in the population. So for 18 to 35, we've got 45 out of 140. That's the fraction we've got. And we want that fraction of our sample, which is 50. So 45 over 140 times 50. And that comes out at just over 16. So we'll call that 16 people. For 36 to 50, got 58 out of 140 times 50. Which is 20.7. We'll call that one 21 people. And 51 to 65, we've got 37 out of 140. That fraction of 50. And that comes out at 13.2. So we will call that one 13. So then we will use a simple random sample. So e.g., pull names out of a hat. To select the right number of people for each age group. And one question for you to try, see if you can give it a go. So a teacher wants to take a stratified sample of 20% of the students, calculate how many students in each year will be in the sample. So we want 20%. We're going to pick 20% of the year 9s, 20% of the year 10s, and 20% of the year 11s. We could use the same formula we used in the other question. So add them up. If we have 70, 85 and 95, that's 250. So we could say 70 out of 250 and times 20%, which is 20% of 250 is 50, which is 14. It's the same as taking 20% of each one. So 0.2 times 70 is 14. 0.2 times 85, 0.2 times 85 is 17. And 0.2 times 95 is 19. So we want 14 year 9s, 17 year 10s, 19 year 11s, and that's it. Calculate how many students in each year. That's year 9, year 10, and year 11.